Thinking of starting a career in human resources? You've come to the right place. My series on exploring careers in HR breaks down major specialties within the HR field in just a few short videos to help you get a good understanding of what each specialty is, skills and education needed, salary ranges for entry-level persons working in these positions or just starting out. Also, a little bit more about my personal experience in each specialty. Be sure that you're also checking out my other videos in this series on recruiting, benefits, compensation, and others. Today, we are talking all about starting an HR career as an HR assistant. So make sure that you're watching until the end as we dive into everything about HR assisting. And my name is Raquel, and I've been working in the HR field for over 10 years. And this channel is all about giving career advice and HR tips so that you can navigate the professional world and really make an impact. I make weekly videos on these topics, so if you're interested in learning more about human resources, job search tips, or just general career advice, go ahead and click that subscribe button below. So you are thinking of starting a career in HR. And you're considering HR assisting. Okay, so what is human resources assisting? What do human resources assistants do? HR assistants are professionals who help HR managers and directors with their duties throughout the course of the day. So HR assistants perform simple tasks like opening mail, answering questions, completing employment verifications, also distributing paperwork and offering support to employees, and also assisting the HR manager with other complex tasks. HR assistants juggle a lot, and I can tell you because I was an HR assistant early on in my career. So their job is just not an assistant. They actually complete many tasks and projects on their own, and they have a high level of responsibility. There's also a lot of paperwork involved, coordination that goes into monitoring employee names, job title, benefits, and so on. We haven't even touched on the projects that HR assistants also are involved in, such as performance reviews, absent planning, employee termination processing, and the list goes on. Many HR assistants also play some part in onboarding and recruiting as it pertains to new employees. So those tasks can include reviewing resumes, contacting references, and also assisting in some way in hosting new employee orientation. The HR assistant is usually the person in the HR department that is answering inquiries from the public regarding minor employee matters. And they are really the gatekeeper of the HR department, and their professionalism speaks volumes to the reputation that many companies have of the HR department, both internally and also to the general public. There are some key skills that you will need to possess to be successful in an HR assistant position. So if you work on perfecting these skills, that will follow you up the ladder as you progress into more senior roles eventually in HR. So number one, you must present yourself in a positive and friendly manner at all times, both verbally and in written communication. It is so easy to upset an employee if you don't communicate right. So that's why it's so important to possess these skills, especially in the world now where so many things are virtual. It's very important to come across very positive and friendly, especially in your email or other written communication. Another very important skill that you must have is the ability to keep things confidential. If you know you're a person that can't hold anything and you must share something with someone else at all times, this job is not for you. Employee records and files are highly confidential, so the HR assistant must be aware of these privacy concerns and possess good ethics and be able to be discreet. The third skill that you would need is great communication skills. Like I said, you'll be interacting with many people, from vendors to executives to other employees. Knowing how to communicate with these stakeholders is key in being successful in HR assisting. You don't want to be too short in your communications because it can come across as being too direct or rude. And then you don't want to be too long-winded and actually give more information that needs to be given and confuse the employees. Many HR assistants, especially when they're new in their position, they have very bright ideas and they have big dreams and big goals for the company and for the department, which is great. But you want to be sure that your goals and the things that you're working on are aligned with the company's goals and also your manager's goals. So you want to be able to meet with your manager on a weekly or bi-weekly basis so that you can make sure that what you're working on is organized and prioritized based on the goals for the department. Great HR assistants are also very organized and they have to really possess the ability to follow directions. So with all the processes I mentioned before that they manage, as an HR assistant, you will need to know how to organize everything and provide updates as needed to your manager. Following directions is highly important because you're new in the role. There are going to be a lot of things that you don't know. So following the lead and the direction of your manager is key, and having the skills to do so is very important. The last skill I will mention is the ability to analyze and interpret information. So I mentioned this skill last because sometimes HR assistants will not possess this skill right away. It actually takes time to develop this one, but I think it's very important to have this skill in order to transition or be promoted to the next level from an HR assistant to either a generalist or a specialist. Let's talk about the education requirements and experience needed to work in this field. So in most cases, you should either have an associate's degree in HR or business, or a bachelor's degree in HR, business, accounting, or any related field. Having a degree in HR or business administration is great, but there are many HR people that started out with different degrees. However, if you're trying to decide on a major, I would say a degree in business is great. If you can find a university though that actually has a concentration in HR, that actually would be wonderful. Now, as far as certifications, I don't believe many companies require HR assistants to be certified right away. But actually, once you start working in that position, maybe for at least 1 or 2 years, the expectation would be for you to obtain some type of certification, whether that be your APHR or PHR. I actually did a video on how I passed my PHR. I'm going to link it up here and also put it in the description box below in case you want to check that out. So what about pay? How much can you expect to make as an HR assistant? So according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average hourly pay for HR assistants nationally is $19.57 an hour. So once you move up the ladder, you can expect to make an average salary of maybe $60,000 to $70,000 a year as an HR generalist or a specialist. Of course, that depends on your work experience, company size, industry, where you're located, but HR really provides a great rewarding career path. So as promised, I wanted to talk about my experience as an HR assistant. So my first role in HR, my first introduction into the field actually came about in a HR assistant role that was part-time for a warehouse. My manager actually was based on the West Coast and I was here in Atlanta. And so she managed me from a distance. So I was kind of thrown into the thick of things on my own sometimes. I actually worked at a warehouse that had 100 employees. It was both day shift and night shift. And a lot of my responsibilities was hosting orientation for new hires, inputting data into the HR system, setting people up for benefits, and just explaining to the employees benefit packages. And from time to time, I actually had to deal with real employee issues on harassment, of course, with the support of my manager on the phone. This is very unique for an HR assistant position because many HR assistants are actually in the same building as their manager. So for me, this was very unique. but it really helped me to get prepared for the next level up, which was an HR generalist. I stayed in that HR assistant role for maybe about a year and a half, and I felt like I really learned enough to apply for the next position up, which I did get. So if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Also, don't be a stranger. Subscribe below to this channel and also click the notifications bell. That way you're notified every time I post a new video. I will see you in the next video, and thanks for watching today. Bye for now.